Hi, do you still have to sort of pinch yourself when you leave the medical and you realise that people come up to you saying that how much they love your stories and your work and how kind of they're inspired by it? Do you still like almost don't believe that?
Yeah, I think the answer, well, I'll let you guys answer, but yeah, the answer is, I think it's really incredible because as far as we're concerned, there's no difference between, apart from microphones, between us up here and you guys in there. Like, you know, we still love this stuff, like hardcore fans. So, but there's guys behind that table that I know embarrassed myself in front of the first time I met them. And the second time, the third time, and also last night. So it is that weird thing of being able to interact with people who have touched you they've really made a difference. Like there's Andy, Jeff, and Simon, have shaped my childhood and shaped my reading level growing up, and it's shaped the job that I do. I wouldn't. Literally, the three of them, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for those guys. So to be able to express that is a huge thing. So, but yeah, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel like we've earned it in some ways. When people are sort of like so gracious to us, but we don't. I don't take any of it for granted. They could all end tomorrow, and I could be paying for my ticket next year. I'd happily do it just to kind of come out. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a dream come true to work with the characters and people say they enjoy what you're doing. It feels wonderful because I think we're all as big fans as anyone. I mean, even at these conventions, I'm always looking over toys I want to buy because I still love the characters, even though they're like their day job too now. But I remember when I first started at IDW, I sent James this email. I was working with James for a few weeks before I had read Last Stand of the Wreckers. So I had talked to him, and then I remember reading that comic and just being like, oh my god, this is an amazing story. And just sending this gushing email, I had no idea how good that story was, And so that was very random to kind of know you first before I had read that. But yeah.
No, that's before I knew you. Anything you
I think Livio sort of summarised it really well. I'd just say, I think probably the highlight of my weekend here was reading the Cybertronian Times, and there's two absolutely cracking stories in there. One that's set in Robotic Skies continuity, and one that's in more the IDW universe continuity. And it took me right back to the fact is that there are writers and artists and creators out there that should be up here as well, and to see other people basing stories on stuff that I'm doing, that we're doing, it's the biggest compliment of all, and that really means a lot.
On that note, there's no reason why there's people here today who are in the audience that won't be up here. It wasn't, sort of 3 years ago, it was kind of like your sort of first step in the pro, and we've got, it is possible to sort of kind of break through and, be picked up by Chris Ryle at a convention, we're proof guys, so it's kind of, the Cybertronic Times this year is just not there in the park, so yeah, there's not much difference really. It's kind of luck and timing is the fine line between sort of us up here, I think.
This one's for James. Right. Is Swerve based on anyone you know in real life? Because it's equally as annoying.
My mum works in a bar, and she's very short, and no, he's just an amalgam of. Yeah, you're right. He's annoying, and there's probably a Swerve-esque character in most groups, most social groups. Where's John Paul actually? No, he didn't hear that. Yeah, I think he's an amalgamation of those people. He's a bit of I forget the John Paul comment now. I'm going into other territory. But no, he's an attention seeker. He's built up. He's got a reputation. It's actually something which is explored in the annual. There's a Swerve subplot in the annual, and it looks at a little bit at why he is like he is, and a lot of it's surface. But and I think he's got a bit of like most members of the Lost Light crew, but probably a bit of an inferiority complex, and he uses his mouth really to define himself.
Next,
More of a general question than anything. Pre-war, entirely pre-war, before anything kicks off, which character would you be most interested in? Interested in their history, and how would you like to expand on it to everyone?
With the chaos theory, you know, I mean, it was Megatron for me. When I sat down to write chaos theory, one of the things I wanted to do was to sort of explain, you know, why the Decepticons, why are they there? I mean, it sounds really obvious, but in the IDW universe, it hadn't been explicitly established actually what their long-term, maybe their long-term aims of conquest has been well established, but in terms of why does Megatron want to do that, and then by extension, you know, what led him to that, what gave him that ambition. So I sort of had my opportunity to go digging in that era, and Megatron would be my choice.
Yeah, I think for me it probably would be Soundwave, just the idea of, you know, for as famous as that character is, like, where does that sort of line devotion to Megatron and Decepticon ideal come from? Like, what was he doing before the war? Like, what was his function? How evil of a character is he? I mean, I think his backstory is something very interesting, and it really hasn't been done.
Sort of completely set with Starscream, I think, because like that character is like so venal and sort of self-centered that I don't think there's any way he wasn't that way. He might not be sort of Buddhist, mustache-twirling villain in peacetime, or this is his origin story, but I think he's always going to have massive character flaws, you know, like pretty much from the start. And I guess kind of figuring out how a character like that operates in peacetime, and I guess, you know, you can see why he's such a catalyst, I suppose, to some of the bad things that goes on, because he's just out for himself, and, you know. So I think Starscream would be interesting. I think the villains are the most interesting ones, because we know the Autobots are good guys. We know the Autobots are peace-loving and peace-seeking, and so therefore going to like be able to sort of cohabit in a sort of a normal society. But it's the sort of the troublemakers. It's kind of how do they kick off.
I just very quickly give a shout out to Robots in Disguise for how incredibly well the Starscream character is written and is being developed there, and he's, you know, I'm very jealous of that. Very, very good.
So for James, Pipes, he almost died on Delphi. He was almost killed by Fortress. He's just going to almost be killed at the second issue or something.
What are we talking about?
Pipes.
Pipes. Yeah, wow. I wanted people to think Pipes was going to die in the Delta mission. In fact, I saw a lot of people predicting that he wouldn't make it, that he was a red shirt character. But yeah, he survived. Don't need to be shot, as you say, by Fortress Maximus, for having the temerity to look like Overlord in issue 6. Silver arms and a blue belly. He's been promoted really to the the sort of crew roster at the back of Modern NCI. He's going to be the idea with Modern NCI is there'll be like a set of secondary characters. Trailbreaker's another one, and there's others to come. And they'll occasionally sort of move into the spotlight, probably just being built up to all be wiped out in the slaughter to come. Pipes is alright for a while.
A friend of getting rid of the Dinobots and forming the Cybertron gang. Do you know if this is true?
I can't imagine that being true. I think there's such popular characters, you know, and just thinking of them as such a big part of the current game shows that I think Hasbro wants them to stick around.
I heard the similar sort of things that they were sort of kind of retiring and that sort of like, and like, it kind of doesn't make sense if you're going to like put them front and center in a game and give them toys and then sort of retire. And they're always, you know, they're kind of nicely underused at the moment. They kind of show up and sort of like, you know, make themselves known. It doesn't make sense really to kind of retire them in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't see that they will. But then, you know, that could be sort of a ducking sort of move on Hasbro's front, like putting that out there, kind of similar to IDW's thing last year, saying we're not going to bring back Generation 1 comic, you know, while plans are afoot. So, you know, it could be smoke and mirrors. I don't know.
Just to let you all know, unfortunately we've got 5 minutes left. I hate to cut this off because it's going so well. Do we have maybe time for 1 or 2 more questions? We've got a gentleman at the back already with the microphone.
Following the last of the records, we saw that Guzzle and Impact are still out there in the universe doing their own thing. to come back into the ongoings in some way?
No, you'll never see them again. Yeah, we're done. Hey, there's all sorts of plans between the three of us and others at IDW, and Impatra and Guzzler. They're too good to be away for too long. The trick is bringing them back, if indeed they are going to come back, in a way which catches you unawares. So, yeah.
The thing is, James, he's doing such a great job with sort of the comedy and the lightness in More Than Meets the Eye. If you thought that stuff was funny, wait until you see the Guzzler and Packer sitcom that I'm working on. I don't think canned laughter has been done in comics before, but man, I'm bringing it. It's going to be good. Sitcom with a body count. That's the pitch.
Okay then, we've got one more left.
This is just a general question. If you had to compare Transformers and Beast Wars, who would you say is who? If Starscream is Laserbeak and Cheetor is Hot Rod, who would you think would be who?
I'm outside my comfort zone. That's like a quiz. That's like a proper lateral problem, isn't it? I'm not good at that. No.
Ironhide is Rhinox. Ironhide is Rhinox. That's all I have really. That was my one. I thought all the rest of the guys would jump in with something there, Megatron is Megatron.
Right, okay, one more. The gentleman with the baseball bat was
Drift. There you go.
Who nearly jumped out of his seat there to be the last guy. Can we get a microphone, please, for the guy with the baseball? J-Bot, go around. The guy with the baseball cap. Stand up and be recognised, sir.
Oh no, I'm not standing. Quick question for James. At the end of More Than Meets the Eye #1, there was a message for the future with a few signs of importance. I was just wondering, how long will it be that plays over? How long will it take for that to play out?
I could be pretty specific. Let's say it's longer than a year. It's longer than a year. So far you've had, and here's a confirmation that the monster in the basement is Overlord. You've had Don't Go to Delphi. The reason why you don't go to Delphi may not have been revealed yet. Don't Let Them Take Skids. That's not happened yet. Don't Look in the Coffin. That's not happened yet. So there's a few things still to come, and as long as people keep buying it, and I get my issue 100, then we'll see. We'll play out that foreshadowing.
Look at him, skip away! Skip!